Good morning, Asean. Freshen up your world, your thought, and your idea with us every weekday from 7:30 to 8 a.m. I'm Patsurang Desha Putharangsi.
And I'm also here with you, Shamali Saklami, and today is Monday, 19th of August 2013. Kun Patsurang.
Yes, let's go to the update on the crash, the Philippine ferry crash, as rescuers resumed their search and retrieval operations on Sunday to find the remaining 82 missing passengers from a ferry that sank, killing at least 38 people in the Philippines, according to the Coast Guard official. The ferry sank on Friday after a collision just outside the central port of Cebu with a cargo vessel owned by a company involved in the world's worst peacetime maritime disaster nearly 30 years ago. Rescuers found several more bodies floating near the site of the incident as they continued scanning the area for possible survivors. Cebu Island Governor Hilario David told reporters technical divers started operations to search for bodies inside the sunken ferry. David said as early as 7 a.m. in the morning, on Saturday morning, the Navy divers were deployed for the continuation of our search and rescue operations, and hopefully there are still passengers out there alive. He also said that divers were having a difficult time due to oil spilling from the sunken ship and affecting visibility. Philippine Coast Guard Central Visayas District Commander told reporters that an investigation was underway into the cause of the collision. And he said that we should also consider the limitation of space in that very particular area. There is only a narrow passage of 600 yards for each vessel to meet. Definitely, there are rules. Whether who violated or was there a violation that has to be validated by an investigation. The 40-year-old ferry was approaching Cebu late in the evening when it was struck by the departing cargo vessel, the Sulpicio Express 7, leaving two huge holes in the latter's bow. The ferry sank in minutes about a kilometer off Cebu. Well, some family members of the missing victims have gathered at a Coast Guard outpost to wait for any information on their loved ones. Student Richard Ortiz went with his friends to find his missing parents who were returning from a family gathering in the southern Surigao province last week. Well, Transportation Secretary Jun told reporters on Saturday that President Benigno Aquino has ordered a thorough investigation of the incident and has formed a fact-finding body that will look into the cause of the collision and criminal liabilities of both ships.
Now let's have a look in Cambodia as the opposition leader Sam Rainsy warned yesterday that the country will face a political crisis if an independent committee is not established to look into alleged irregularities during the July 28th election. Sam Rainsy, president of the Cambodian National Rescue Party (CNRP), told reporters at the party's headquarters in Phnom Penh that he would like to appeal to the ruling Cambodian People's Party or CPP to agree to the establishment of an independent investigation committee into irregularities during the election. He said that the independent committee must exclude the current National Election Committee or NEC, which is widely seen as being loyal to the CPP. According to him, this way is a fair mechanism to sort out the problems peacefully. However, the CPP has repeatedly rejected such demands, saying that no joint probe committee will be formed without the NEC's involvement. The NEC released the initial election results on Monday, showing that the CPP of long-serving Prime Minister Hun Sen got 3.23 million votes and the CNRP received 2.94 million votes. CPP also claimed that it won 68 seats of the 123-seat National Assembly, while the CNRP got the remaining 55 seats. But the CNRP claimed that it should win 63 seats when the CPP getting the remaining 60 seats if an independent committee is set up to investigate alleged poll irregularities. NEC Secretary General Tep Ney Cha said on Saturday that there was no need to talk about the Joint Probe Committee as the initial results had already been released, adding that the final results will be issued on September 8th. CNRP's Vice President Kem Song-Kha said last Thursday that the party will boycott the first parliamentary session and call for a mass protest if the proposed committee is not established to investigate poll fraud. However, previously, Prime Minister Hun Sen said on 2nd of August that a new parliament and a new government would be sworn in and scheduled despite the opposition's boycott. And the constitution stated that a new parliament will be inaugurated no later than 60 days after the election.
A Vietnamese appeals court has overturned one dissident's 6-year prison sentence and halved the term of another in a rare show of leniency by the country's communist authorities. The decision followed meetings last month between President Obama and President Truong Thanh Sang of Vietnam. Mr. Obama pressed Vietnam to take concrete steps to improve its human rights record, a major sticking point in relations between the two nations. The first dissident, Nguyen Phuong Young, 21 years old, was convicted of violating national security laws in May for distributing leaflets critical of the Communist Party and sentenced to 6 years. The appeals court on Friday revised her punishment to a 3-year suspended sentence and released her. The other dissident, Dinh Nguyen Kha, 25, was given 4 years in prison instead of 8. Nguyen Thanh Luong, a lawyer who was in the court, said Saturday that the judges had cited the young ages of the defendants in the decision. He said he believed it was the first time an appeals court here had freed someone convicted of a national security crime. This is a positive sign, Mr. Luong said, and this should be encouraged.
And the Myanmar workers in Malaysia are facing an uphill battle against their employers, as some of them are not paid for months and the rest are victimized under the 6P program. The latest incident affecting Myanmar workers occurred at the Sun Hong Lee Engineering Works, SD and BHD, where 6 of their workers lodged a police report against their employer and also filed a case in the tribunal court via Malaysian Trade Union Congress or MTUC. According to an email sent to FMT, MTUC on behalf of the Myanmar workers is seeking for justice and compensation from the employers. MTUC representative Peter Kandia, speaking to FMT, say that they have been receiving numerous complaints from Myanmar workers in relation to non-payment of wages and poor treatment by their employers. When asked on the Sun Hong Lee engineering case, he stated that the employer deducted the levy from their wages. In a letter sent to the Home Ministry on August 1st, it stated that under Section 4 of Employment Act 1955, employers are not allowed to deduct wages of a person under the pretext of collecting levy. Peter said that it's wrong to do in that manner, and if the employer wish to do so, they have to get approval from the Human Resource Ministry before engaging in such activity. He also stated that MTUC has requested the Immigration Department to issue a special permit pass for the 6 workers until their case solved in the tribunal. But the lackluster and delayed response shown that by the immigration has irked MTUC. Since then, MTUC has forwarded this matter to the Home Ministry in hope that they will look into it seriously and provide the necessary justice to the Myanmar workers. It is also further stated that the 6 workers are claiming for the 33,418 ringgit from their employer. It stated that in the letter that the 200 Myanmar workers are affected by the misleading activity. There are an estimate 300,000 Myanmar workers in Malaysia, legal and illegal, and another 100,000 refugees from Myanmar. And Myanmar nationals are legally allowed to work in the manufacturing, plantations, agriculture, construction and services sectors.
As worried over the escalating violence in Egypt, 9 Muslim NGOs have handed over a memorandum of understanding to the Egyptian embassy in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia.
More than 30 people demonstrated in front of the Egyptian embassy against the political violence ongoing in Egypt. The group comprised of 9 non-government organizations, including Ikatan Muslimin Malaysia and Perkasa. Demonstrators were seen carrying placards in support of deposed Egyptian President Mohamed Morsi, who was toppled by the Egyptian military in early July. No Sisi, Yes Morsi read one placard as the demonstrators stood around silently, watched by nearly 20 policemen. Speaking to reporters, Ikatan Muslimin Malaysia President Abdullah Zaid Abdul Rahman condemned the Egyptian military over the killings of hundreds of Egyptian civilians.
Pendekatan yang diambil ini dengan menggunakan kekerasan untuk menyelesaikan masalah politik sangat membimbangkan kita dan boleh menjejaskan kepentingan negara itu sendiri dan juga boleh menyebabkan krisis itu merebak kepada dirasai oleh seluruh dunia Islam.
Perkasa Secretary General Syed Hassan Said Ali demanded that those who sanctioned the violence be denounced as criminals.
Perkasa mohon menggesa kerajaan, menggesa OIC bersidang tergempar untuk membincangkan isu Mesir.
Yayasan Nasar Foundation Chairman Datuk Nasharuddin Mat Isa expressed disappointment with the Muslim world's inaction over the violence and urged the Malaysian government to take the initiative and work towards finding a solution over the crisis. The group then handed over a memorandum condemning the killings to embassy officials.
And in the related developments of the Egyptian situations, now according to the Foreign Affairs Ministry of Thailand, the first batch of the 614 Thais airlifted ones that will be sent out of the crisis in Egypt, and today it will arrive at the Don Mueang airport at around 2:30 p.m. Today, what are the details, Kun Pasarang?
Well, details for the remaining evacuees' flights to Bangkok have yet to be confirmed. There are around 100 Thais who chose to remain in Cairo still, are known to be staying in safe places. Well, altogether, there are about 1,700 Thai nationals nationwide in Egypt. Most of them are still students. Let's take a break first for more news after the break.
Welcome back to Good Morning ASEAN. Now let's have a look at the Myanmar Focus Daily today. Let's have a look at the summary of the new FDI Law Incentives from Special Economic Zone.
For this episode of Myanmar Focus Daily, we will be looking into the incentives for foreign investors under the new Special Economic Zone Act that is expected to be out within a few months, as well as the summary of the new foreign direct investment law. To lure more foreign direct investment into the country, Myanmar is currently in the process of issuing the new Special Economic Zone or SEZ Act, offering more incentives for investors who are interested in establishing their businesses within Special Economic Zone in Myanmar. The law is expected to be out in a few months. According to a drafted version of the SEZ Act cited in the presentation by KPMG Myanmar, the Act offers investment incentives such as a 5-year tax holiday in the promotion zone and 7 years in the export processing zone and half tax rate reduction for the next 5 years. For another 5 more years, if the profits are reinvested in the business within a year, half tax rate reduction is available for the earning of the reinvested business. Moreover, for import duty, there is duty exemption for all materials or parts, machinery, and equipment imported by the companies in the export processing zone. There is also duty exemption for imported machinery, equipment, and motor vehicle for the first 5 years in the other zones. After the period, half tax rate reduction shall be applied for the next 5 years. For land lease, the lease term for the land in Special Economic Zone can be 50 years with another 25 years of extension. The managing director of KPMG Myanmar explained that the Special Economic Zone Act would be applied to all Special Economic Zone in Myanmar. The Special Economic Zone that is likely to be ready for operation the most would be the Thilawa Special Economic Zone in the outskirts of Yangon, as it is supported by Japan in building surrounding infrastructure. The first phase is expected by mid of 2015.
Actually, the industrial zone itself can be developed by the private capital. The making a land, making building, the roads and water treatment or whatever. But the infrastructure surrounding that industrial zone, like a road, bridge, port, power, water drainage, those infrastructure should be developed by the government. You know, private company cannot afford building all those infrastructure. So for Tirawa case, they have financial aid from Japan to build up those infrastructure. So they have already started building all these power plant and road or port. So after that, they can develop the industrial zone by private company. So I think that it's quite feasible to see the first phase of the industrial zone maybe in 2015, mid of 2015.
He also pointed out that another SEZ, which is the way, also has high potential as a gateway to other continents. The main problem is the issue of financial source for infrastructure development has not yet been solved. Earlier, the new foreign investment law, which was originally issued in 1988, was made effective in November of 2012 with the update on detailed regulations in January 2013. Major changes in the new foreign investment law include: first, Myanmar Investment Commission issued a time frame of 15 days to inform about the acceptance investment applications after the submission. They will conclude the review within 90 days from the acceptance. Second, though foreign investors are currently not allowed to own land, they are able to lease lands from both a private entity or person and the government with a lease term of 50 years and able to apply for 10 years of extension twice, totaling 70 years. Third, joint venture is allowed between foreign business and Myanmar partners with equity ratio less than 80% or 60% for some business. Other than the restricted business, foreign capital can own 100% equity. Last, corporate tax exemption is extended into 5 years. Noted there is no minimum capital requirement in submission the applications. The question lies whether Myanmar is giving away too much to foreigners.
Maybe. But as I mentioned in the speech, there are a lot of challenges, there are a lot of difficulties. So we need to give the strong incentives to foreign investment. Otherwise, nobody will come. So that's why they are so generous to foreign investors. They really need foreign investments to develop their country.
But do you think this will hurt the local people, the local business people?
Actually, that's why that they have indicated some kind of a business area to be restricted or prohibited. So the major purpose of that list is to protect the local company. So I think they should spend certain concerns to the local companies as well.
KPMG Myanmar revealed that foreign investors have become more confident after the enactment of the foreign investment law. Moreover, the firm also urged foreign investors to attempt to submit investment applications to Myanmar Investment Commissions for consideration in most of the sectors, even though some sectors may be restricted. There is an opportunity that if the investors are able to fulfill certain conditions required by Myanmar, their applications could be considered. Anravita Misang from Myanmar Focus Daily.
That's it for today's edition of Good Morning ASEAN. We'll see you again, same time, same place, same channel.
Thank you so much for watching, and I am Nirasha Malisaklami.
And I'm Patsurang Desha Putrangsi. Swadika.
Swadika.
Brought to you by Bangkok Bank.